guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome back to my channel. Let's go ahead and get into my 7-week bump date with baby number 2. So today is Friday, December 4th, and I am currently 7 weeks pregnant, and this week has been the hardest so far, even though I'm only like 3 weeks in, but so far it's been the hardest. So some of my symptoms do include cramping. I think I mentioned in my first, my 4-week update that I had been having, my 4 or 5 week update, that I had been having some cramping. Last week I didn't have much at all, but this week I've been having significantly more cramping. I've also had kind of like a burning sensation in my uterus. I don't know how to explain it, but it literally feels like a burning sensation, kind of just like soreness. And yesterday I sneezed and I could have sworn that my uterus was about to rip out. It hurt so bad. It was just like an all-around uterine pain that was so sharp, and it went away after a few minutes, or after a few moments, maybe like a minute, but it was really intense. So I've definitely just been having overall cramping and uterine pain, which I'm sure is just from my uterus stretching and growing. This week it is supposedly about the size of a small fist or a lemon. So yeah, that's exciting. Another symptom that I noticed this week was that I have been having nipple sensitivity when breastfeeding. So I haven't noticed any changes within my breasts overall, to be honest. I haven't noticed any breast tenderness. I don't notice that they're bigger or anything like that. I'm still breastfeeding my 16-month-old. So I've noticed that when I nurse her, specifically my left one, it's a little bit painful when she latches. Once she's latched, it goes away, but it's definitely just an uncomfortable feeling when she latches. So yeah, I found that pretty weird. It's not painful, but they have just been a little bit more sensitive when breastfeeding. And I think the biggest symptom for this week, let me go ahead and mention this one first. So I've also noticed that my skin has been worse this week. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but my skin has been worse. I've just been having a lot more breakouts than I've been, and I don't know if it's because of the way that I've been eating, not being able to drink as much, which I will go into with the next symptom. But yeah, my skin has definitely been not its best, so hopefully that will fix itself soon. But yeah, my skin has been just all over the place. And the last symptom, which has been the worst one so far, has been the nausea and vomiting. So I think I mentioned last week that I started experiencing morning sickness, and that it started around the same time as it did with my last pregnancy. With my last pregnancy, I'm pretty sure I was already on medication at this point, but even with the medication, I was still feeling nauseous, I was still throwing up, and I still managed to lose a total of 13 pounds my first trimester. And this time around, I am 7 weeks today. I didn't finally get some medication to help because of issues with my insurance and everything like that until yesterday evening. So literally for the past week, every single day has just gotten worse with my nausea and vomiting. I have not been able to keep any food down, rather than maybe 2 or 3 crackers at a time. Water, I have to take sips, and even then, I'm probably not drinking more than about 2 cups a day because I can't. And imagine on top of that, taking care of a toddler, it's very, very, nausea and vomiting can be very, very debilitating. And I think the worst part is, especially when you do have an appetite, I know a lot of moms say that they don't have appetites, and so it's hard for them to eat. So even when they're hungry, they don't know what to eat. No, I definitely have an appetite. My body just won't let me eat whatever it is that I am wanting. So I got desperate. I was waiting for my doctor to put in a prescription for me. I had to call because I haven't had my first appointment yet. So I had to call them, and they had put in a prescription for Zyclegis, and for whatever reason, the pharmacy was not fulfilling the prescription because they needed an authorization from my doctor, which I don't understand, but whatever. So with that trouble, I called them back and I said, hey, they're having issues. Can you either send in an authorization or send me something else? I just need some help. So she went in and put a prescription for Zofran, or the generic version of Zofran, which is actually what I was taking with Iris. I wasn't taking it as labeled just because I didn't have to take it every 6 hours, but so far I've taken 2 in a matter of 20, almost not even 24 hours. They were about 12 hours apart. So I took one last night before going to bed, and then I took another one this morning around 10:15 a.m. because I noticed that even though I had been eating a little bit, I had like a banana, I had like a little piece of a pancake, I was still starting to feel really nauseous. So I took one and I feel a little bit better now. I just had the other half of that banana and a little bit of a salad. So hopefully that stays down. But yeah, that nausea and vomiting is just, it's not fun. I'm already down 4 pounds from when I found out I was pregnant. When I found out I was pregnant, I was 121 pounds, and this morning I am down to 117. So it's definitely not fun, and I'm not trying to lose as much as I did with Iris for sure. So I'm gonna definitely just try to keep eating. Hopefully this will kind of help me, you know, just be able to get some more food in my system and keep some more food down. But my mom, it's so funny because now that I'm in Miami with my first pregnancy, I was all the way in Orlando, so we didn't have any family close by. But now that I'm back in Miami and I have, you know, like my mom and my sister and everyone, and they all know that I'm pregnant. It sucks because apparently, like, out of all of them, I'm the only one who's had like morning sickness. My mom was like, yeah, I had 3 girls. I don't know what morning sickness is. Like, I was perfectly fine with you girls. My sister too. My sister has 2 boys and she's like, I never had morning sickness. She's like, I had maybe a few waves of nausea, but that was it. Like, I never got sick. And I'm like, well, aren't you guys lucky? You know? So they're just like constantly checking up on me and asking me how I feel and things like that. And it's kind of hard to be like, well, I just feel shitty, you know what I mean? Because, you know, as a mom, like, I'm sure that it sucks to see your child suffering and knowing that there's nothing you can do. But yeah. Oh, and I also bought these C-bands, which is something that I did not do with Iris. So with Iris, even though I was really, really sick, I never bought any C-bands to try to help with the nausea. And trust me, I've tried the crackers and ginger ale, I've tried the ginger chews, I've tried the Prego Pops, I've tried the nausea tea. Like, none of it works. None of it works, which is why I have resorted to medication, because at the end of the day, my own health and being able to have the energy to take care of my toddler is most important. So I know that people have mixed opinions on taking medication while pregnant, and, you know, even me, I don't want to overdo it if I don't have to. I'll deal with a little bit of nausea if I have to, but it was just to the point where I couldn't even cook for my daughter anymore, and that to me was not okay. But I decided to go with some C-bands. I ordered them off Amazon. They were like $5, and I genuinely feel like they've been helping a little bit. Yesterday, before I got my medication in, I was able to eat a little something. I think I had like half of a cinnamon roll, and I put these on. I drank some water and we went to the park, and I did end up getting a little bit of a headache, but I think that was just from being out in the sun. Other than that, like, I felt sick, but it wasn't as sick as I had been feeling. I would say it was maybe at like a 2 or 3 rather than like a 7, 8, which is what it had been these past few days. So at this point, I hadn't had any medication in my system, just the C-bands. So yeah, if you don't know what they are, basically they're just like little things that you put on your wrist that are acupressure, and they're supposed to put pressure on certain nerve points to help with, you know, things like nausea and all that stuff. So yeah, I was able to eat a little bit of Wendy's when we got back from the park. I had some like Wendy's fries and like a teeny tiny little cheeseburger, and I actually felt really, really good after that. Like and I had a lemonade. So I think it was just like having food in my system, not having the need to like throw it up, and, you know, just allowing it to sit and kind of just be there and allowing my body to do its thing. I was feeling really, really good for a couple hours, and then the evening hit and I couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I mean, I haven't taken them off. They're still on, but yeah. So that is my 7-week update. Let's go ahead and get into the belly shot. So this is my 7-week belly. I do feel like I'm getting a little bit bigger down here, which is obviously like where my uterus is growing the most. It's gonna start growing down here because my uterus is down here, so. Baby bump at 7 weeks. So yeah, that is my 7-week baby bump. Even though I've been losing weight, I do feel like obviously with my uterus growing and stretching, feel like I am gonna start showing sooner. I do see like the little bump forming already. And I know that with your second pregnancy, a lot of times you start to show much faster. So I'm excited for that. Have my scan next week. So at my 8-week appointment, I'll be able to show you guys baby scan, share with you the details, a more accurate due date. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. I have to call the doctor's office and see if Michael can come with me because we are still in the middle of a pandemic with COVID-19. So I know with doctor's appointments and stuff, they are being strict with, you know, letting people come in with you. And either way, like someone's gonna have to stay with Iris. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna have to stay, but maybe I can FaceTime him or something. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to watch the rest of my pregnancy journey with baby number 2. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.